Yo! Okay. Bear with me for a second, because you know that I know that you already know I think too much. Okay. Bear with me here. I already said that. But I just finished working with a client. So I'm driving, I'm at the stoplight. I was like, oh, there's a lot of traffic. And I'm like waiting for my opportunity to get out. And it's a 2-lane. And I'm like, oh man, I'm trying to find my way. And I'm thinking, it's kind of like, you got to get in where you fit in. And in this case, I got to get into the traffic line when I can fit in, but I might have to gas it because these folks are just not stopping because the stoplight's not changing. So I'm there and I'm thinking, boom, 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 all the vehicles. And I'm like, which little spot, which little nook do I pull out and try to fit in? And how hard do I have to press on the gas? And I was like, it's got to be simpler than this. Just stoplight. Change from green to, red. Hook a brother up. And I have no idea why. I saw War Robots, and it dawned on me. Something about the game that hasn't made sense to me, and I've given myself a little bit of space to think about it, and it is everything about, the basics of the game are the same. You have the same map, or maps, let's just think of single, just the same map that represents all the maps. The same maps that you play on. There's no different maps, it's just the maps that you're playing on. Regardless of how long you've been playing the game, since at the beginning when you had like 1 or 2 maps, now you have 7, 8, 9, 12. I don't know. I stopped counting after I never see the other maps because it's always in repeat, the same 2 maps or 3 maps. The same maps, the same amount of players per match, the same amount of bots per player per match, the same amount of weapons, medium, light, or heavy, per each robot, per each hangar, per each player in each map. Every game mode is the same game mode. So all of that being said, it's the same. And the same targeting system. The same capture the beacon or team deathmatch. But I don't know who plays that. Some people do, and those people are just probably, they're mining silver. That's probably like the only reason why they do it. Which is all good, whatever. Saying again, if I'm going to say that, I'm going to freaking scream. Self-awareness. I'm like hyped up because I'm trying to figure out how to get my point across and survive these 2 truckers, like not sandwiching me in like I'm a yum. Just did it again. I'm trying not to say it though. Okay, so all that being said, the same thing to same variables, but now we have the complexity. It's like going from flatland, one dimension, like I'm stuck between, like South Park, one dimension, and then when you want to turn to go into a direction, you have to like turn your whole body. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Nothing. What's up, Johnny? Oh, you know what I'm saying? But now we're in like a 4th dimension of complexity in the game, and it made me think of that scene from Matrix, where the guy, I think it was the twin brothers, they're like, and they're like, there was like an effect where they were like chopped up, like the frames of a photo. If the shutter speed was taking too long, it would stitch all those photos together, and then it wouldn't be a solid shot, or they wouldn't stitch together. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. And so that's what I've been having a problem with, is because it had the complexity of the game now doesn't match the available game modes and map size. and speed of the game. Because there are some bots that have speed, and other bots, most bots are like, they're still operating on the same speed metrics like they were when they first came out, unless you have a pilot and a pilot skill or a module or come on. With all of these extra layers of complexity, the maps themselves should be bigger, maybe more beacons. I'm sure that they can mathematically figure out a way in the algorithm to like be able to work with that. And the length of time in each map. No longer am I finding, this is my own fault, my learning curve, and something that hasn't been sitting well with me, is that if I am in a bot and I am playing a support role, and in that supporting role there are these rules, these global rules that you operate under when you are operating with the mindset of a support player on your team, and then you have a specific bot with a specific set of weapons and a specific pilot skills range or whatever. The rules that you use to operate that bot, those weapons with that pilot and modules, if you're doing good at supporting your team and you're staying in that bot to support the team based on what your mindset, psychology is, and what tools you have, you stay with the same bot, right? But if you stay in that same bot for more than, let's say, an average of 2 minutes, now you have 5 more bots to go through. So regardless of how well that support bot is working for you and your team, you're going to have to dump that bot soon, or just sacrifice it, run out into the middle of the field and just die, and then go to the next spot, then the next spot. I've realized that in my situation, I'm doing well for my team based on the bot that I'm used and the mindset that I had when I was using that bot. I'm actually screwing myself over because I got 5 other bots to work with. Well, 1 Titan and 4 other bots to work with. Because the amount of time it takes for the beginning of the match to the end of the match, if the beacon bar was, running parallel, little fight, I'm just screwing myself. And in fact, I could be screwing my team. But in the long run, you have people that are botting out, but they're botting out early because they haven't managed to find the balance of that fine line of going through your bots too fast, being too aggressive, and not being aggressive enough. You know what I'm saying? So the length of time, 10 minutes, and the small little map, it just does, I don't know, maybe like increase it to 12 minutes instead of capture the flag, or capture the beacon, like something else to where you have to rely on your teammates. Like, I don't know. Because right now it's like all you do is you just run out into the open and fire until the other person just dies or you die. There's no running from, like, I don't know, man. It just seems like the game is so, the game is more like chess now than it is than what it was. And what it was before was just, what is it, checkers? I think it's checkers. There's so many moving parts, and I don't even know what those moving parts are. I mean, I know what they're called, but when it comes to the utility of those parts, I don't know. I know a pilot skill is to complement the pilot, and the pilot's to complement the bot. The pilot skill could be the weapons or the speed or the agility, not the agility, the durability, the healing, but even those are very not minuscule, feeble. No, I don't know the word for it. They all factor in. It's like with a wheel, you can have a wheel, let's say all the spokes, let's say 26 spokes. If now you have 25, the wheel will be fine. As time goes on, the balance of the wheel will go off, but you're not going to notice it right away. 24, 23, 22, 21. Now you're starting to get in some frail territory because the integrity of the wheel will be sacrificed. But you're not going to notice that much. So if you didn't have pilot skills with pilots, but you had those modules and stuff, you're probably going to notice it, but it's not going to be as much. It's just when you start taking away these little pieces, and I don't know how those pieces integrate, or interact with, how they interact with the big picture. Because there's a cause and effect. Like in life, Tony Robbins says every thought and or action is a cause set in motion. So whatever it is that you're experiencing, the effect, that was the cause. The cause was set in motion by a thought or action prior to that. Whatever. So when it comes to the bots and weapons and modules and stuff, I'm sure like if you start nitpicking like the little variables, little pieces of the game, and you move things around, it's going to affect something that you don't expect it to affect. But the matches are always different because the players that you're facing are generally always different. And not only are they majority of the time different, but their own little bots, weapons, pilots and stuff have their own little idiosyncrasies, little strengths and weaknesses that you don't even know. Because it used to be back in the day where it's like if you had a Spectre, a Griffin, you knew every single Griffin that you saw on the field had the same 32 kilometer per hour speed, let's say 32. And every Griffin had 2 medium and 2 light. And every Griffin can jump X amount of distance to the front, to the sides, and back. Every Griffin's jump had a max height. Every Griffin's, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like a pop shot, like if you had like aphids. If you were a specific distance from, and there was a wall separating you, that Griffin would have to jump at a specific height, a specific angle, in order to deploy those aphids and those vortexes. Really, I'm talking about just the aphids. Forget the vortex. When it was Orkans, when it was Tulumbuses, when it was Terrans. Those were the days that the game was because you actually had to use your own skill in problem solving instead of relying on modules, boosters, pilot skills. None of that. Man, those are the days. But you actually had to look at that person's weapons. You had to look off into the distance, and you had to see what the profile of that bot was. Forget the name, forget the tag, the clan that they were associated with. You had to look, and you had to look at the profile that made up that bot. Off in the cut, in the shadows, you can make the little vertical boxes on top of the bot. You're thinking to yourself, what creates those little vertical boxes, little square at the top? That person is using pins. Okay, so the pins are 500 meter. Okay, so let's look at the side. Okay, so I'm making out the side. Oh, we got 2 of them, but they're off. Pin Columbus. So we're looking at a death button. And then you have the Russian as a death button, right? And then you had the square. You're like, those are the Panadas. We got a 300 meter light. And then you make out, it's like a little oblong, it's like not an oval, it's not a square or rectangle. Like, oh, that right there is an organ. So we have a 300-meter bot. That's a death button, a Russian death button. Same thing with the Terrans. If you had the little circles on the top, little yellow glowing orbs. That was a 350-meter energy weapon. Or you had freaking Mollets and be like, oh, I'm going to tear this fool up. Only if that person is within your grasp, because that one has 800 meters and they can chop you down in no time. Or not no time, they can chop you down, but it's going to take time. But if they know how to pilot that bot, all she wrote, baby girl, all she wrote. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to be a punk and I'm going to use the dang, what were they called? The spirals and hydras. Man, that shit was irritating as hell. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm just like thinking about all the problem-solving skills that you would have to employ in order to profile the person you're about to go up against. Can't do that now. Because there's so many layers upon layers upon layers of the bot that just base speed is blank, base durability is blank, but then you have pilot skills that could give the durability this much and the speed that much and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm just rambling by now, but woo! So maybe y'all can help me with this. Help me understand what the complexity is. Like, what is the cause effect? What are the chess moves? I mean, there's got to be a template for it. There's got to be there's got to be, when you mess with this, you do this. When you add that, you get that. I mean, I know like speed and but you have, oh, not even to mention, I forgot about the microchips and the drones. I bet y'all were like, but you haven't mentioned the drones yet, because I forgot. Anyways, boy, it's cray. It's crazy out there, y'all. The complexity of the world. Anyway, I will holla at you. Now that I'm thinking about all this, I'm going to go and jump into my account to see if what I just voiced actually makes me feel, or the game makes me feel what I just voiced out. Because maybe what I just said was kind of like what's been working on me subconsciously. Oh. What do you think? All right, y'all, no matter where you are in the world, I hope you, your friends, and your family are happy, healthy, and safe. And until next time, holla. Peace, y'all.